Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem that will be performed by Dr. Ryan Book, Chair of the Music Department at Sandhills Community College. Ryan, please be seated. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks very much. Well, welcome. It is my pleasure, and it's an unusual pleasure, to welcome you here as we gather to confer degrees upon the class of 2021, but also on the class of 2020. Can those of you who are members of the class of 2020 please stand and be recognized? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These folks didn't get a chance to do this last year, so we thought we'd give them a chance this year. This is the first time we have ever split the class into the Associate in Arts and the Associate in Applied Sciences. Just picture the scene here when you have twice as many people, twice as many students, twice as many parents, twice as many friends. And you can imagine that it is quite a packed scene. And this is why, for social distancing purposes, we decided, of course, before the governor changed his mind, that we ought to split it up. And we're asking you to wear your masks today because it might be the last chance you'll ever get to wear them, you know. And we know how much they mean to you, and we want to make sure that you enjoy the experience. I was saying to my wife as we left to come over here this morning, this is the 50th graduation over which I have presided in my career. Now, I haven't been president here for 50 years. And you're all thinking, and maybe this time he'll get it right. But I haven't been president here for 50 years, but we used to do 2 graduations. And I was president somewhere else for 7 years. So this is number 50, and it is the first one in all of those 50 that I've ever been a little bit chilly. I've never seen a graduation like this. I've never seen prettier weather. I've never seen a better looking class. I've never seen a nicer hat, for starters, right here in the front. The class flower girl, we have several of those, and so it's such an extraordinary day. You have been through so much. Your faculty have been through so much. We have half the faculty up here today because the other half are coming this afternoon for the applied science programs. So you've got you've got half the faculty, you've got half the students, you got half the parents, you got half the degrees of temperature. It's just a perfect opportunity for us to get together and celebrate what you have achieved. You have achieved something that's never been tried before in the history, I think, of higher education. Shifting, by the way, I refuse to use the word pivoting. You know, it's just too schmaltzy a word. We shifted from in-person classes to online classes almost overnight. Many of you had never taken online classes before, and all of a sudden you found yourself at home in your PJs trying to keep up with a calculus class. And it's not easy to do, but you did it. And your parents helped you do it. Your girlfriends, your boyfriends, your children, in many cases, helped you do it. So why don't we all stand up and everybody give everybody else a big hand? Now we have some special guests I want to recognize. Who's over there? Kathy McPherson is over there. Kathy is the chairman of the board of the Sandhills Community College Foundation. Let me just ask a question. How many of you have received a scholarship or some guarantor support or some financial aid support during your time at Sandhills? Well, that's the lady to blame right over there. You hear a lot about the Sandhills Foundation. It operates with a board of directors, and Kathy is the chair of that board of directors. Is Tom here? Tom is he's always hiding behind the flag, and he's hiding behind the flag today. Tom is here, and Dr. Mary Logan, Emmet Logan, in just a few moments is going to receive an honorary degree, but his wife Mary, who's also a doctor, but she's a real one, is going to be here along with her sister Sandy, and who is that mystery woman behind? Oh my God, it's Evelyn, my wife, in her brand new hat. The hat, the glasses, the mask, I have no idea who she is. But she keeps me straight, and I'm glad that she's here. It is such a pleasure to introduce to you the faculty and the staff of the college. You did this yourselves. You did it with the help of your parents, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, but you did it with the help of the faculty. And you did it with the help of the staff. And I'd like, if I can, to introduce to you some of those folks. Kelly Shoemaker is our Vice President for Student Services. Dr. Rebecca Roush, our Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Megan Ramsey, where's Megan? Megan is our Student Body President. She'll have a few words for you in just a moment. Nevius Tony, Professor Nevius Tony, is the President of the Faculty Assembly. Dr. Julie Voigt is the Dean of Instruction, and she is the one who's going to be calling your names. She doesn't call you names, she calls your names. It's slightly different. And Brenda Jackson is our Chief Operating Officer, and she is here. Also here is Dr. Deborah Dallas. Dr. Dallas is the superintendent of the Hoke County Schools. How many Hoke County Schools graduates do we have today? All right, great. Are some of you Sandhoke graduates? Terrific. The Sandhoke Early College program is one of our brightest stars. Speaking of stars, Dr. Jermaine Elkins is behind me, and she is the woman who is sort of in charge of the operation of the Sandhills Community College Foundation. So when Kathy goes out and raises the money, she gives it to Jermaine, and Jermaine gives it to you. And last but not least, Dr. DJ Farmer. DJ is sort of the minister of graduation. He is the guy who puts together all of this stuff. I mean, we have everybody working, and you'll see, you know, everybody, it's an all, what we used to call in the Navy, an all-hands evolution. But DJ is the straw that stirs the drink, and I think we should give him a hand for the way this thing has been set up. There are faculty members on either side of me, and I honor all of them, but I especially want to honor two of them who are retiring this year, and I know that many of them, that they are favorites of yours. Kathy Kruska. Kathy teaches speech and communications, and she has more energy than any three people I know. She is an amazing person. Pete Golden is a professor of chemistry, everybody's favorite subject. Pete is what I like to call a teacher's teacher. He is the director of our Teaching and Learning Center. He is a master of teaching. He's a master teacher. He's a distinguished professor. And he, frankly, is a person to whom all of us look on campus for academic rectitude. He really is an amazing guy. So we're going to really miss seeing both of them, but I think we might talk them into coming back in a couple of years and maybe teaching some classes for us. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you Megan Ramsey. She is our SGA president. Let me first say, we have SGA presidents every year, and they're all great, honestly. George, I can't think of a bad one we've ever had. They're all terrific. But Megan has been extra special. She was an SGA president during COVID, and she was trying to hold you guys together somehow, to have a student life experience and to have a student ambassador experience when we couldn't talk to each other, we couldn't see each other, we couldn't communicate with each other. Now, my office is right over there, and on many occasions this summer, I would see Megan come out with a group of students, and they would paint on the green here, staying 10 feet apart from one another. And I knew that Megan was really, really doing a job. She's a remarkable woman. Her story is a remarkable story, and we are honored to have her say a few words to you.
Thank you, Dr. Dempsey. Good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Ramsey, and like Dr. Dempsey said, I am the president of the Student Government Association here at Sandhills. On behalf of the governing boards, the faculty, the staff, and administration, I am delighted and honored to welcome you all to the Sandhills Community College's 2021 commencement ceremony. Today's joyful event celebrates our students, our soon-to-be graduates, for successfully completing their associate's degree. And what a challenge that's proven to be. This year has been anything but easy. Like Dr. Dempsey said, we have hit a lot of difficult roads. I remember when I enrolled here 2 years ago that the campus was always buzzing and flowing with students. There seemed to be a sense of unity and fellowship and togetherness, and that sold me from the start. I knew that Sandhills is where I wanted to be and where I wanted to complete my associate's degree. That sense of togetherness and unity was hit with an abrupt change when the pandemic came. We were all faced with adapting to a new way of life, learning, and staying connected on campus, as well as in our personal lives. Although it was difficult, we found a way to maintain the spirit that ran deep here. Like you said, I was here painting on the campus. We ran student activities, and we tried our best to really maintain that spirit. On behalf of every student, I'd really like to commend the faculty, administration, and staff for stepping up to the plate, going above and beyond, and keeping the heartbeat at SDC alive and strong. So let's give them a round of applause. I would like to also commend every student for pursuing their academic goals through these trying times. Collaborate and learning online was not easy, so give yourself a round of applause. My wish is that each and every one of you have many opportunities and blessings on the journeys ahead, whatever they may be. Learning through difficult times, staying connected with others, and adapting are all great principles we can continue to live by as we go on to our next adventures in life. As we continue our education, start new jobs or families, we can look back and be grateful for the times that might not have seemed the brightest. I hope you all embrace every day as it comes. I hope that we can all make the best of it. Bob Ross once said, "There are no mistakes, just happy little accidents." I leave you all with this quote by Carl Jung, which has always been near and dear to my heart, much like Sandhills has been to my heart. "I'm not what happens to me, I am what I choose to become." So I hope that you guys choose to become something great. Thank you and congratulations to Sandhills Community College's class of 2021.
Thank you, Megan. I think you can see why I think she's such such a special SGA president. You know, there are two fabulous hats here in the front of the. You guys both have to stand up and show your classmates your hats. Oh, wait a minute, we got three fabulous hats. You back there. Any more fabulous hats? Well, we are proud of all of you. I'm also proud to be able to introduce to you Mr. George Little. George has been chairman of the Board of Trustees at Sandhills for 35 years. He has been a trustee here for 41 years. Now, since last year was a COVID year, and we don't count that one, so we're going to say that he's been here for 40 years. And in honor of his 40th year of service, we have designated this coming summer, for those of you who are Seinfeld fans, to be the Summer of George. George is a guy who loves this college. He loves the mission of community colleges. He loves the faculty. He loves the students. And thank God, he even loves the administration. So it is a real pleasure to introduce to you my boss of the last, you already met my boss of the last 53 years. Now this is my boss of the last 32 years, George Little.
Thank you, Dr. Dempsey. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees, let me welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2021, and congratulations to each of you for your accomplishments. Let's recognize all of them. Let me introduce the trustees that are here today. They stand as I introduce them. Gene Horn, Gary Evans, Connie Lovell, Sandy Stewart, and Helen Probst Mills. Let's recognize them. Let me express to the board's appreciation to Dr. Dempsey, the faculty and staff, for a job well done. And let me say one other thing. We have the most outstanding president in the country for community colleges right here at Sandhills, and that's Dr. John Dempsey. Let's recognize him again for what he does. This college would not be where it is today if it wasn't for Dr. John and the trustees and all the other people that support this outstanding college. So thank you to each of you. We're also very proud of the graduates, so each of you. Let me also thank you for the many supporters of our college who help us make this one of the best community colleges in the nation. Again, congratulations and best wishes for a very successful and bright future. Thank you.
Thanks, George. In the life of any college like ours, there are times when we have to pause and honor and recognize the accomplishments and the contributions of individuals who have been especially important to this institution. I have the great honor today of conferring, and I will be conferring it in just a few moments, the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa. Most of you don't speak Latin. That means it's an honorary doctorate. It's a very nice thing to have, but you can't write prescriptions. The person today who is receiving this award is Emmet Logan. Emmet and I have been friends since we both moved to Pinehurst 30 years ago. Our wives, Mary and Evelyn, are friends. We have sort of, I would say, grown up together, but the truth is we've grown old together. And that's even more fun, believe it or not. And so if Mr. Emmet Logan would approach the podium, and if Dr. Roush would help me out. Emmet, why don't you come up here just a little bit inside of George so that people can see you. See your handsome visage. Mr. Robert Emmet Logan was named for an Irish revolutionary who asked that no man write his epitaph. Thus, these words do not so much chronicle Emmet's achievements as focus on his ideals and on his lessons. Emmet Logan is a native of Jersey City, New Jersey, and a proud graduate of St. Peter's Preparatory School. Following high school graduation, he was called to service in the 82nd Airborne at Fort Bragg. In 39 jumps, Emmet not only became an expert paratrooper, but from high above he got his first look at the golf courses of Pinehurst. The siren call of those courses would eventually lead him to the Sandhills, where he and Mary, the family's other doctor, have made their home since 1990. The period of time between Emmet's jumping at Fort Bragg and his playing golf in Pinehurst was spent in the most unusual circumstances. Some bad decisions upon leaving the Army led him to a life on the streets of New York and a 6-month period of homelessness. Climbing up from the very bottom, Emmet worked first as a caterer's dishwasher until he got a job loading trailers for UPS. 30 years later, he was director of European operations for that company and a senior vice president of one of the world's largest corporations. He retired in 1990 to come to Pinehurst to search for birdies of all kinds. Emmet and his wife Mary have been members of our college family since 1992. Logan Hall bears their name, as does a scholarship fund that annually helps over a dozen students to pursue their dreams of a college education. Emmet is a member of the college's foundation board, which he chaired from 2004 to 2006. Just as he is a philanthropist of enormous generosity, so too is Emmet a teacher. Rare is the Sandhills administrator for whom Emmet has not been a mentor, and who has not on occasion received an email from Emmet recommending an article, a book, or even a course of action. For his service to his country, to his community, to Sandhills faculty and staff, for his generosity not just to Sandhills and its students, but to groups and individuals throughout our community, for the time and energy it is devoted to helping the college, including its president, make the best and smartest decisions possible, and for the passion he brings to helping people less fortunate than himself. Emmet Logan is on this day awarded the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, given at Pinehurst, North Carolina, this 15th day of May, 2021, by the Board of Trustees of Sandhills Community College. Here comes Rebecca.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, I'm verklempt. That was very nice. I must confess that about halfway through that, I began to wonder, is he still talking about me? I mean, my mother loved me, and she never had that many nice things to say about me. I thank Dr. Dempsey, and of course thank the trustees for awarding me this honor. It means a lot. I became a member of the Sandhills family some 30 years ago, and working with the foundation, with the faculty and the staff, has been a highlight of my life and so rewarding. In fact, I might say that receiving this honor is just icing on an already delicious cake. Most of my involvement has been with the core values of opportunity and excellence, but it is the other values, integrity, helpfulness, respect, all sprinkled with a bit of kindness, that sets the college apart and is their secret sauce. And all of that starts with leadership. Now, integrity for me means delivering on what you promise, keeping your word, I've lost my place, and leading by example. And there's no better example of that than what Dr. Dempsey does every year, teaching classes. It makes a clear statement. This is what we do. This is our mission. We are educators. We are teachers. and everything that happens in the classroom is important. Now, what we do matters, but how it's done is just as important. And those three other values, kindness, helpfulness, and respect, they form the basis of the college's culture. And it is that culture that is the North Star of everyone that works at Sandhills. And it impacts everything that they do. If you have the opportunity to work with anyone at Sandhills, at any level, you will see that culture at work firsthand. They all seem to love what they do. They love being part of Sandhills. And you'll leave feeling good and feeling assured that the work of the college is in good hands. Now, for Mary and I, the greatest blessing has been the opportunity to help well over 200 students complete their educations. Most have been single moms, and they're just trying to make a better life for themselves and for their children. They write us thank you notes, which we cherish. And oftentimes, they'll describe their circumstances. Trust me, they're never good. They're never easy. I'll give you an example of what it might be. I wake up in the morning, I make breakfast, I get the kids out to school, then I go to school. After classes, off to my part-time job. Then rush home for dinner. After dinner, help the kids with their homework. Then my own homework. And finally, fall into bed. And then you wake up the next morning, and it's wash, rinse, repeat. And they do this day after day, month after month, term after term, until one day they're sitting here as you are today. It's great that Aaron and I were able to help them, but in truth, what we did was but a small footnote in a remarkable story of grit and determination authored by women that I find truly amazing. Now, it would be easy to talk about the school and the people at the school and all the good work they do forever. But if I go on too much longer, Dr. D here is going to give me the hook. He might even take away my award. No, I can't have that. So let me close. Let me start by, first of all, congratulating all of you on what is a really wonderful achievement. I know how hard you have worked. Now, I am not a genie, but I do have two wishes for you. My hope is that you find something in your life that truly excites you, and that you find someone to share that with. When you do that, life will be good, and the journey will be fun. Safe travels.
That's perfect. You know, the Irish revolutionary that he's named after was also an Irish poet. And those are great words, Emmet. Thank you very much. I'd now like to recognize Professor Nevius Tony, who's the president of the Faculty Assembly, and she is going to come forward and distribute, hand out, acknowledge, announce the winner of the Faculty Award.
Good morning. Today I'd like to recognize the recipient of the Faculty Award. The recipient's name is Caden McIntyre. Caden is a graduating senior with the Associate in Science degree in the Sandhills program. One of his professors said that she's had the pleasure of having him in 2 of her classes. In the statistics course, he was outstanding. Last year, he was inducted into the Phi Theta Kappa and has already been accepted into East Carolina. Caden is a wonderful, respectful, hardworking young man, and we know that he'll make us proud. Caden couldn't join us today due to an unforeseen emergency, so please join me in congratulating him.
Thank you, Nevius. And now, of course, we get to the part of the program that you all came here for. And normally, of course, you walk across the stage and you get your diploma handed to you, but these are not normal times. And of course, when we conceived of this, it seemed a little unsafe to have everybody parading across the podium. So what we've decided to do is to call your name, to have you rise up, just like in Hamilton, to have you rise up and twirl around, particularly those of you wearing these beautiful hats, twirl around and show yourselves to your friends and family, and we'll all give you a hearty welcome. We will also give you a rose. We just thought that was and they've already been dethorned, I was told. A dethorned rose. So we're going to give you a dethorned rose as a symbol, frankly, of our love. Because honest to goodness, we wouldn't do this if we didn't love students and if we didn't especially love Sandhills students. To present the candidates for degrees and diplomas, I call upon Dr. Rebecca Roush, Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs, and Dr. Julie Voigt, Dean of Instruction. Dr. Roush and Dr. Voigt will be assisted by staff members from Student Services, as well as two of our special guests, Marine Staff Sergeant Joshua Parrish. Where is he?
To your right, sir.
I bet you can tell which ones I'm talking about. And Staff Sergeant Quentin Shepard. Dr. Roush?
As the graduates are called, please take note of the cords and stoles worn by some of the graduates. Gold cords are worn by those graduating with honors. Red, white, and blue cords are worn by military and veteran graduates. Sandhook Early College graduates are wearing gold stoles with the school's initials on them, and Phi Theta Kappa graduates are wearing gold stoles with the Honor Society's insignia on them. Dr. Dempsey, trustees, I now present the 2021 candidates for the transfer and general education degrees. Dr. Voigt?
Good morning. Class of 2021, Associate in Arts, Tamara Hewitt. Georgette Joan Thompson. Felicia Jenny Everett, summa cum laude. Emily Elizabeth Westcott, magna cum laude. Associate in Applied Science, Culinary Arts, Shonda Cloud Jones. Cosmetology Diploma, Paulette Jones Bonaparte. Landscape Gardening Certificate, Caroline Brady. Class of 21, Associate in Arts, Corey Addison. Nadir Ahmed Al-Saidi. Alia N. Alston. Justin Anderson, cum laude. Andrea Nicole Anderson. Bella Atkinson, magna cum laude. Trinity Balu, cum laude. Kevin Beeger. Anna Bonadonna. Chelsea Lynn Boswell, summa cum laude. Matthew Botnick. William Boyd. Keegan DeAndre Brayboy. Eric Bullard, summa cum laude. Jadalia Burns. Rebecca Irene Carson, cum laude. Lashar Julia Childs. Kristen Gwen Kluntz. Joseph Braxton Cockman, magna cum laude. Dashanera Cologne, cum laude. Kayla Kota. William Bennett Crouch. William Davis, cum laude. Morgan Reese Denman. Ethan Douglas, magna cum laude. Amber Marie Flowers, summa cum laude. Mary Fogelman. Sarah Graffer, cum laude. Ashley Gray, magna cum laude. Autumn Green. Dawson Garrett Gray, summa cum laude. Olivia Grace Harrelson, cum laude. Michaela Harris. Kalida Hilarado Patricio. Brianna Renee Hawley. Claire Hurley, summa cum laude. Samuel Monte Crower, cum laude. Eric Maurice Lee. Nadia Hernandez Lima, cum laude. Brianna Latrice Marks. Tyrese James Mason. Isabella Maria May, cum laude. Drew McCampbell, summa cum laude. Gwendolyn Alexis McCrimmon, cum laude. Heather Medlin. Maria Mendez, summa cum laude. Ashley Brianne Miller, magna cum laude. Dorico Jason Miller. Carly Riane Modlin, cum laude. Elise Moffett, cum laude. Margaret Moore, cum laude. Aki Dominique Moorhead. Lauren Morgan, magna cum laude. Teresa N. Nagy. Corey Patterson. David Perjasat, magna cum laude. Alexis Nicole Pope. Thomas Husser, cum laude. Charisse Reddick. Kendall Wayne Ruteman. Angel Riviera, cum laude. Victoria Salazar. Omari James Simmons. Stephanie Nicole Slack, summa cum laude. Nicholas Terry Stewart, summa cum laude. Yasmin Sutton. Kiana Thomas. Arcelis Torres, magna cum laude. Sandra Zagli Bedozo. Victoria Xavier Venjon, cum laude. Bella Lola Ventola, cum laude. Austin Riley Ward. Abigail Lindsay Watson. Cody White, cum laude. Yvonne E. Princess Marie Wilson. Zion Diasia Wilson. Autumn Woolfolk. Nathan Yao, cum laude. Associate in Engineering, Joshua Taylor Patterson, cum laude. Samuel Isaac Patterson, magna cum laude. Associate in Fine Arts and Music, Corinne Elizabeth Collinson, summa cum laude. James Miller, summa cum laude. Associate in Fine Arts and Visual Arts, Natalie Michelle Jaron. Rayanne Noel, cum laude. Associate in General Education, Zion Bailey. Cora Barrett. Tammy Renee Beeler. Shaquanda Shanada Brooks. Shadida DeSanchez. Tanya Knight Garrison, cum laude. Marian Hernandez Cruz. Katrina R. Jones. Ronald Locklear. Lisa Elizabeth Tomlinson, McKeever. Dante Moore, cum laude. Rebecca Zip, magna cum laude. Curtavius Washington. Associate in Science, Amanda Angelise Cervantes, cum laude. Giovanni Bain. Victoria Bain. Thomas Benson, magna cum laude. Hunter Wesley Blake, cum laude. Nadia Jordan Boron. Marie Boyd, cum laude. Jaquila Everett Erzar Bratcher. Summer Victoria Campbell. Dominic Kerrigan. Emily Cartwright. Abby Dover, summa cum laude. Essence Dowdy. Sabina Dunn, cum laude. Andrew Anson Fain. Calvin Ford, summa cum laude. Caleb Stephen Garges. Logan Goins. Sierra Sky Hammond, summa cum laude. Daryl Marcus Harp Jr., cum laude. Anthony Tyler Hayes. Carolyn Maddie Holder, magna cum laude. Michaela Ann Hudson. Spencer Hurley, summa cum laude. Cal Jones. Abby Keller. Caroline Jean Clemish, summa cum laude. Ashley Marie Leonard, cum laude. Alexis Nicole Martin. Alexander May, summa cum laude. Oscar Morez Ocampo. Miriam Miranda Aguirre, cum laude. Emily Grace O'Brien, summa cum laude. James Pate, magna cum laude. Ian Payne, cum laude. Hannah Ruteman, cum laude. Evan Michael Ridgway, magna cum laude. Kevin Drake Rippey. Hannah Shea Ritter, cum laude. Jaylyn Robinson. Nevea Roverato. Emily Smith, summa cum laude. Itzel Solis Galvan, cum laude. Ariana Tobar, cum laude. Kamira Tonka Williams. Elizabeth Woolard. Chloe Wright.
Can that woman read names or what? You know, two of those roses were delivered. One was delivered by Mike Ventola. I saw that one. Mike runs our turfgrass program here at the college. The other was delivered by Dennis Holder. And not only is Dennis the I won't say the architect, but the godfather of the beauty of our campus. And have you ever seen a more beautiful place? You know, Sandhills was voted, I don't know if you know this, the second most beautiful community college campus in America. And sitting here this morning, second? You know, I mean, really. And Dennis is in charge of that, so my hat is off to both of them. Dennis's daughter has actually come to my house to help shovel snow when we get snowed in, because they're supposed to be in charge of taking care of the president's home. And I've obviously passed the sell-by date for people who shovel snow. So, Dennis, thank you very, very much, and congratulations to both of you. By the power vested in me by the state of North Carolina and the Sandhills Community College Board of Trustees, I now declare you to be graduates of Sandhills Community College. You can shift your tassels And I think you can get rid of your masks. So how about a hand for that? You know, this does not happen without, as we said earlier, without your families and your friends who had your back during the kinds of circumstances that Dr. Logan was talking about when he was talking about the folks that he and his wife Mary help. So I think that it's probably a good idea for the class of 2000 and, what is this, 21, 22, whatever it is, the class of 2021, to stand up, turn around, and thank these people for what they have done for you. Megan Ramsey didn't get called. Holy moly. Julie, why don't you come back up? And you and I together will call Megan Elizabeth Ramsey, magna cum laude. That's wonderful. You guys sit back down just for a minute. We're almost done, but I want to thank everybody who makes this possible. You know, you look around, you see all these folks who've been delivering roses, who have been, helping out our two friends from the United States Marine Corps. Let's give them a special hand. They've given up their Saturday morning to be with us. And if you guys are at loose ends about something that you'd like to do in the future, give them a call. I'm sure they'd love to talk to you. So that's what they do. The Student Services crew, I saw Jean Blue around. Jean, where are you? She's here somewhere. Jean is the registrar, and she is the person who's in charge of making sure that all your grades are in, and all your library fines are paid, and all of those things that you need to graduate. So Jean and her staff, and Kelly and her staff do it just a fabulous job. Chief Threet, where's Dwight? Where is he? To my left. Okay, Chief Dwight Threet. How many of you guys have been busted by Dwight? No, he doesn't bust many people. He's really kind of more of an uncle than he is a copper. But he does a great job. He and his staff do a wonderful job. Before I let you go, how many of you are veterans? Have any veterans in the crowd? 1, 2, 3, 4. Lots of hands going up. I was at the grocery store last Saturday. I'm a veteran too, just like Emmet. I'm a veteran. I spent some time in Vietnam and knew a lot of guys who got hurt. And I was in the grocery store on Saturday, and I saw this fellow shopping. And if you're in the veteran community here in town, you may know him. I don't know his name. He is a triple amputee. That means both his legs are gone, and his left arm is gone. And he was shopping. And I watched him shop, and I thought to myself, this is incredible. He was pushing his wheelchair, and he'd go up to the Cheerios section or the peanut butter section or whatever he was buying, and his left arm had a manipulating device, and he would grab it, he'd put it in his basket. And I was so touched by, he was clearly a soldier, he had a U.S. Army t-shirt. I was so touched by what I saw that when we ended up in the checkout line, I was like here and he was over here. And so I went over to him and I said, "Soldier, can I pick up your order here? I'd be happy to pay for your order." He said, No. He gave me a big smile. He said, "Thank you very much, but I don't need that. I can handle it." So I went back and I got my thing and I went out to the car, and I park in veteran parking out there at the Harris Teeter. And this gentleman was parked also in veteran parking, and he was loading the back end of his not an, I guess an SUV, but it was one that sort of loaded from the back. And of course, as you might imagine, he was having a difficult time. I mean, he had wheeled himself out, and he is reaching around with his right hand, getting the stuff from his basket and putting it in his left hand and putting it in the car. And once again, sticking my nose where it obviously had no business being, I said to him, "Soldier, can I help you load that?" And he said, no. He said, "Actually, they teach us to do as much as we can for ourselves, because that's the only way in which we're going to grow, if we do as much as we can for ourselves." And I thought about how many times I have, blamed fate or blamed circumstance and moaned and groaned about something that had happened to me. And here was this fellow to whom some bad things had happened. And he was worried about not getting soft by letting somebody else do something for him. And he was putting this stuff in the car, and he had a big cake and a whole bunch of balloons, those helium balloons that they sell at the Harris Teeter. And he's, the poor guy was trying to get these balloons to not fly away, and he's trying to put this stuff in the car. And as I said, "Can I help you out?" He said, "No, it's better that I do this myself." And I said, "Well, it looks like you're going to have a party." He said, "Oh no, these are for my wife." He said, she's the reason I keep going. She's the reason I keep going." And I thought to myself, here's a guy who had been dealt a bad hand by fortune, and who was committed to doing everything he could for himself, and also committed to having a little left over to do something for somebody else. And I thought, we got graduation coming up in a few weeks, and if I leave these guys with nothing else, I want to leave them with that message. Do what you can to help yourself, but have some left over to help others. It's the same message that Emmet gave to you. It's the same message by which Emmet kind of lives his life. And it's the same message, I think, by which all of us who work here at Sandhills try to operate. We try to have a little bit left over for you. So as we take our leave of each other, and believe me, we will miss you. That's a throwaway line that you sometimes hear at graduation. But this is an unusual class, and we will absolutely miss you. As I take our leave, I want to wish you the very best. I want to thank you for making us a part of your lives, just as you have seen us become, just as you have become part of our lives. I want to thank you for that. And I want to wish you every opportunity to do what you can for yourself and to have a little left over to give to somebody else. So with those words, I will again congratulate you. I will wish you the very best of luck, and I will say goodbye and Godspeed.